halfway through. This is the half-season review. Hey, it's the first time we're going to be having a crack at three people on the show for the Outside Gate. So this is the Outside Gate with Steve Hall for the L4 Media Group, where we talk US moto and anywhere the conversation goes. And with us today, we've almost got a little bit of a reunion here. So we have Trent Marr, former host of the Moto Limited show, and currently in between roles, we'll say.
Unemployed.
And we have unemployed media guy but still got a day job.
Yeah, a day job. Yeah, I always had a day job. Just unemployed media
always
guy.
had a day job, what we all do. And we also got Blake Maitland, who was on our quarter season review. And he is the host of the Moto Rundown show, which is up and running now, which covers New Zealand moto scene. How are you, dude?
Yeah, not too bad. Just hoping the house doesn't blow away at the moment.
Yeah, so Blake is sheltering from the storm. And there's a storm raging outside in good old New Zealand. So he's just driven home, and he said there was things flying around and the rain's coming in sideways. So if we lose Blake at some stage and I can't get hold of him, I won't even need to explain, because that'll be why.
His roof's missing. Somebody find his roof for him.
If your roof does go missing, man, just don't even say anything. Just run, and we'll know where you're going. I'll just mute you, and you go and rescue your house. All right.
I feel a little out of place here, guys. I mean, I used to being the guy who run all this thing, and you guys now you both have podcasts. I'm unemployed. This is
that's right.
This is a full circle moment. We're back.
It is a bit. So you go back. I don't know. Let's just say go back. A year. Go back a year, and me and Blake were joining in to watch Trent's show, and now he's a guest on my show with Blake. So, and you'll probably be a guest on.
Turned.
You'll be a guest on Blake's show before you know it too, I'd say. So
not allowed. I'm not cool enough to get on Blake's show. I heard not cool enough.
I only do big time guests.
There it is. Welcome back.
Are you enjoying it, Blake? You're enjoying it? Doing your show?
Oh, yeah, not too bad, eh? Get a hang of it slowly.
Yeah.
Not as daunting as the first one was. That was pretty shocking, but we're getting it rolling slowly.
Yeah, I've sent you some feedback, man. I reckon you're doing well. I reckon, just bring that. You're a funny guy, man. I reckon just bring that funny side of your personality out a little bit more, which will come with comfort. And I reckon,
as it always does with everyone.
Yeah, you're doing well, man. You're getting a good guest and covering things good and that. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Your little brother, man. He's going all right. Luke?
Not too bad. He's sitting 7th in MX1 at the moment. So yeah, not too bad. He's sort of just here having a crack at it, not putting any effort into it really, sort of showing up. But yeah, not too bad. A couple of points out of 6th, and then everyone in front of him's
pretty handy.
Teams.
Yeah, when you look at who's in front of him in that MX1 New Zealand class, man, it's a pretty solid list of guys in front. So, and how old is he?
He's just turned 17.
Yeah,
and he's running a 250 two-stroke.
250 two-stroke in MX1, and he's running behind Hamish Harwood, Jed Beaton. Who else?
Those are two notable ones, but Hayden Smith, which some Aussies will know.
Yeah,
he's badass. Hayden Smith.
Oh, yeah, he stepped it up massive since round 1. And then Honda New Zealand's rider Jack Trelaw, Husqvarna New Zealand's Josh Jack, and then just in front of him Sam Cuthbertson, which he's been around for a while.
Yeah,
not too bad.
And then Luke, and you're his mechanic.
Oh God, no, that doesn't trust.
we don't wish that on anybody.
I thought you were his mechanic. No.
No, Dad swings off the pit board. I just walk around with a vest on, looking important, but doing jack shit.
Oh, okay.
That's a bit accurate.
That's all right, though. That's all right. You got to just hang around in case he hits the big time, and then you'll be you'll be able to carry the clipboard when he's hitting the big time.
Yeah, I'll be the one paying for everything, unfortunately, then.
At what point do you then start asking him about his suspension settings and how he was off today, and probably should put more effort in? Like, you're going to be that media guy that really holds your brother more accountable than everyone else? I hope so.
Well, he's got stock suspensions, standard clickers, and a softer rear spring, and that's all the bikers. He doesn't care about suspension setup. He goes, I don't know, man. I just pull the throttle and gas it.
Must be nice.
Natural talent, no?
But some situation when the bike's rocking like this down the straight, and it's like, might need a little tweak here and there. Probably wouldn't hurt.
Has he thought about getting on a 450 at all?
We're looking at one over winter time, but he needs a touch more muscle. He's only just cracking 60 kilos, 62, I think we weighed him at.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. So power to weight's still good on the 252 stroke then.
Oh yeah, no, it's pretty good, but he just hasn't got the bottom end torque off the starts, and that's really hurting him. His launch off the gate.
Yeah.
Nah, we'll chuck him on 450 over winter. He should go pretty good on it.
You're three rounds?
He's only just
2
rounds in.
Yeah.
2 rounds, 2 more to go.
Yeah.
So, and they're red clay tracks like Toowoomba, so shouldn't be too bad then.
And Trent, Trent's he used to be like co-promoter of the Sunshine State Series.
Yeah, I mean, my technical term is vice chairman of the group of Queensland Motocross Group. So we're the organising group of the Sunshine State MX Series and the Queensland Motocross Championships. So yeah, I've been busy with that. It's kind of what I was doing last year and around Moto Limited, and my day job was trying to also promote races. So doing away with Moto Limited just give me a little bit more time to take on a bigger role over there. So we just had round 1 of our championship up in Harvey Bay, which we basically just previewed the Pro MX Championship to everybody. We had Bar probably beaten, who's still in New Zealand, and a couple other names. Clout, we pretty much had a full MX1 class, and MX2 was basically the full class as well. So yeah, it's a lot of work. When you're promoting races, there's a little different side to everything. We see it as riders and then, the media guys, but then actually being the promoter or, the organizing group of the event, it's a whole different beast. Working on the other side and working with mini bike parents too, man. They're a whole different breed in their own. So it's been fun. It's been something different, and it's just cool to see the other side of the sport that, we probably rag on a little bit or give a hard time. But once you walk in those shoes, you realize that there's certain things that you just like, okay, now you understand it a little bit more. I mean, it's just cool to see. So yeah, been busy with that, that's for sure.
Yeah, man. So just for the particularly for the US listeners, so the Sunshine State Series is like so Southeast Queensland is like the hub of moto. It's like the California of Australia.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, relative terms, our the span we cover is probably most of what California is too, right? We're like a local series what California would run, just in our sort of Southeast Queensland corner. And yeah, it's the hub. Most of the big importers are here. Yamaha's based out of here, so there's a lot of stuff that's based out of this area, and a lot of the teams are sort of here now, and all the riders are flocking here in droves. So we have one of the strongest series in the country too, and then with the state championship on top of that, for us, relative to the US, like we went over 600 entrants, which is massive for Australia. Like that's one of the bigger events that we have in this country. They get club days with 1,000. So I'd love to see those numbers, but just the sheer volume of people, it's all concentrated in that area. So it's and we're trying to kind of make it a series that is a step down from our national championship. You know, we want riders to come and cut their teeth, or, you know, in the case of those big guys, get more time racing. They only race 8 races a year. So, and then add Supercross onto that. So just some more racing for them to be able to go and, you know, hone their crafts a bit better to put on a better show when it comes to Pro MX as well. So we've been working as a group to make that the reality here in Australia. And again, to reference it too, it's the series Jet and Hunter grew up racing as kids. It's that same race, and they grew up racing the Sunshine State MX series. So, we've bred a lot of talent out of this area. So we're trying to foster it, make it better, and hopefully we send more kids over in the future.
That's it. Yeah, it definitely is. You know, like, you know. And it's promoted so well as well, you know. Like I know more about what's going on with the Sunny State series than I do about the Vic Northerns, you know, which is where I live. So, you know,
it's all a part of it, you know. Like, promoting races is not just having the event, you know. It's the social media aspect, the sponsorship aspect, you know, and then coverage of the event. You know, TV is very expensive to run, and that's. You know, I'd love to get to a point to have TV, but it's a big cost to take. But, you know, you can sit there in Melbourne or in Blake in New Zealand and follow the Instagram page or Facebook page, and you pretty much have an idea of who's doing what's happening there, and just the general vibe of the event is the idea with social media to keep, you know, as much information flowing as we can, so people, you know, hopefully make the trip and come and do our events and come and check it out and spectate at them. But if not, they can keep up with them wherever they are. I mean, you know, with how cool social media is around the world now, you can keep up with what's going on in those series. So that's been a big plus, or a big focus for the group, is making sure that we get a lot of information out.
Cool. So that's keeping you busy, and also keeping you busy, man. I seen you're a young bloke with some numbers on his bike. Hey, that was cool.
Yeah,
Moto dad incoming, eh?
But, I don't know about that. I mean, he has the best of everything, but that's not me. That's my dad. So he did awesome. I'm at the events. I'm there working. So I was like, man, we're there. You know, he's kind of pestered me a little bit to go racing, and he hasn't really raced ever. So I was like, all right, we'll throw him in the deep sand of Harvey Bay and just figure it out. Like, he's never ridden sand before. So yeah, he did all the laps. Our goal was to go there, do all the laps, not quit at any time. He didn't. He come in, it's now his favorite track, which is mind blowing. It was mine as a kid too, but yeah, he loved it, every minute of it. But
that's the main thing, man. If he loved it, your stuff now, aren't you?
No, I mean, again, like, I'm there. I always said, if he wants to do it, the door's always open, and I'm at the races, so it's super easy. But I mean, I'm also super busy, so I didn't really. I seen him on the gate. I gave him a hug and told him I loved him, and then gave him a high five when he finished every lap. And Dad did all the rest. Dad washed the bike, prepped the gear, got his goggles ready.
He'd be loving it.
Mum fed him. Yeah, Mum fed him. And
they'd be loving it. They'd be absolutely loving it.
They do. They love being back at the races. So I got to give them props. They did all the work. Like, I just really brought him and the bike, and I really had nothing to do with the actual him doing it. So, which is kind of cool, because, you know, sometimes dads unintentionally put pressure on the kids just by being around. So I tried not to be around and just let him enjoy it. So he's excited now. So, I mean, I might have to start taking on more jobs to cover his racing fees and everything. But that's why we're in this sport, right? We love it. And I'm just never going to push him. It's got to be his decision the whole time. Yeah.
That's a go. All right, let's get into a bit of reviewing the Supercross season then, hey. So we're halfway, or we're just shy of halfway. And I think that, you know, there's, compared to when we did the quarter season, Blake, where it was like, we don't know what the fuck's happening yet, because the start of the season was just like, you couldn't lock down any form lines or anything apart from a couple of obvious ones. But half season, I think we got some real pretty good view about what's going on. So what do we want to start with, 450 or 250?
Go big dogs.
Go to big dogs?
Big
450s. All right, so my take on the 450, so we're going to talk about contenders, surprises, and then if anyone needs the panic button hit. So contenders, I think pretty much really just from the weekend now. I think there's a clear one, of course, but there's a clear 4. I think you're putting a hard mark under those 4. That's the group. Obviously, that's the top 4 in points: Jet, Chase, Webby, and Eli. After what Jet did on the weekend, like, he's only going to beat himself, I think, now. He probably kind of already has with some of the mistakes he's made. That was just a boss ride. And, like I've said so many times, I'm a bad Australian because I want a close fight. I don't want him to just win everything. When you see Eli and Chase just having nothing for him, like, bloody hell. And I think I had such high hopes for Kenny, but he's too far. He's just too far down now.
Blake, they're fighting words, but I think those fighting words.
I know Blake will disagree. Well, his heart will disagree. And then AP, the weekend just gone like that cost AP. He's probably just put him too far out. Thoughts on that? 450 contenders. Blake?
Go, Blake.
Oh, me?
Yeah, man.
Well, I'm glad it's not a runaway at this stage.
Yeah.
To the point as I was not with a red plate or close to it. Yeah. At least, yeah. It's what, 9-10 points at the moment?
Yeah, I haven't got the exact points.
I'm not sure what the points lead is.
Yeah, the top 4 are all fairly close.
Yeah, but I can see a world where it goes either way for those 4.
Yeah.
And Sexton's slowly starting to pick it back up from that hand injury.
Mm. Do you reckon that he's ever really let on how bad that hand is?
They never do.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to. His results show how bad it was.
True.
Like, he doesn't have to say how bad it was. Like,
he
was way off, when he had the hand issue, right? So his results show that he's off the pace. And obviously they're working on the black and stuff like that too. But like, you guys are right. They're the top 4 contenders right now. Like, they sort of proved it on the weekend. They went 1-4 at Daytona. Yeah. I still think Kenny's probably going to rip another win off here again. I think he's that good this year that he's going to get a win again. AP's on a different level. Like, his crash just cost him on the weekend. Like, when we're talking championship, right?
Championship, yeah.
But I think those guys are going to keep throwing spinners in the works, which is going to make those top 4 not like, a cemented, these are the 4 guys like we've seen in the past, when it was the RV and Ryan Dungey show, or, back in Chad, Ricky, and James's era, right? Like, I don't think we're going to have that again for a little bit. Like, Jet, Eli, Coop, and Chase are probably those 4 guys that are going to be in that order, but it's not just them anymore. Like, Kenny's going to be there, AP's going to be there. That at some point Anderson's going to figure one of these races out, and not have to dodge people running on the track to finish his race.
That's right. Yeah.
Justin Cooper had a good, I think there's a lot of guys that are still yet to find their feet in this championship, but, that have also showed a lot of speed. And for Anderson at times, pretty spicy. Yeah, so as I said, like, they're the 4 guys right now in points, and they're like probably the 4 best riders, you would say, in the championship. But I don't think this is like we're going to be like locking these 4 in and what order they finish. This is going to be our top 4. Like, we've got a really sick championship this year. I don't think people realize how cool it is. And to be, Jet's got 10 points over Coop at the moment. Like, it's not much when, he's had races that we've seen Jet throw it away, right? And maybe that crash is still to come where he throws a big chunk of points away. Who knows? He's still a rookie at the end of the day, if we're totally being honest, right? Chase is going to get better as his hand gets better. Coop's been awesome. Eli keeps getting better. Like, the points as they are, is, maybe bigger gaps at the minute, but it's only going to take one race to flip all this back around again, and we're going to be talking about another guy as a contender. But as a true Australian and someone who's watched Jed, his entire life ride a dirt bike, like, I want to see the kid win. Like, that's just being Australian, right? Like, but I like how spicy it is that we're having so much parity that you just like, cool. Like, we're not sitting here just watching a dominant era as much as a lot of people would like to see that, but it does get long in the tooth. Like, to win, but let's win by like 3 or 4 points and have like an awesome championship all the way, but we still keep winning. It doesn't matter how many, let's just win them, but let's have entertainment all the way through. So you're sitting on the couch every Sunday afternoon here in Australia or Sunday morning and just absolutely loving the racing.
Yeah. There's sort of a there's a little group behind that 4 that is sort of another 3, 4, maybe even 5 that are all people who can throw spanners in the works. Like maybe even a 5, because Justin Cooper's shown some really good speed.
He's got speed. He just got to get fit on a 450, right? Like, and Hunter had those 2 good races besides this weekend having that massive crash. 2
Hunter
top 5s.
Stepped it up a bit, but he haven't heard anything about how he is, but he
didn't his shoulder get thrown out?
Is that what it was? Was it? Okay. Yeah.
I think I heard that on the Racer X review. Shoulder possibly thrown out.
Yeah.
So apparently it was a big crash, like a big.
Yeah, because we didn't see it. We just saw it afterwards, and he was like, you could tell he rang his bell, like he was. He was either really in pain,
wasn't straight.
Rang his bell or in pain, because you could just see the body language. He was just sort of a bit all over the shop. So.
Yeah, and it was in a high-speed section too, like where he ended up. Like, it was a high-speed crash. So, yeah, hopefully it's, as much as bad as I said, just a shoulder injury, he can kind of work his way through and keep going. But he was getting some momentum there, definitely. With 2 top 5s, that's in this field, that's a pretty solid effort.
It's like, in most years, that's like a podium,
Oh, yeah. 100%. Yeah, for sure. And they said in that group, Kenny, Plessinger, Anderson, Ferrandis, Cooper, Hunter. Yeah. I mean, then we start getting down into guys that, you talked about panic buttons before. They're the guys that are probably underneath that at the minute. But, or any of those guys, I think.
Podiums and several of them, several of them are winners as well,
Oh, podiums, and then as you said, like I think there's a couple of them that can win. Some of them already have.
Kenny and Ando in particular,
Moving on.
450 surprises then. So who's your surprises? Mine are 2 of the same that I think I said at the quarter show, which is I'm still pleasantly surprised with Dylan and Jacob. Just they're doing great. And Dylan just keeps getting better, and Jacob, man, like he's fast as fuck. Like I think, he could do anything come later in the year. Like, I wouldn't be surprised for Jacob to somehow sneak a win in like the last round of the year or something. You get those odd last rounds, sometimes when people are playing safe and someone comes up, like, Marv's done that before and that sort of thing. And then I'll just talk about my panic buttons, and then we'll go around, we'll do surprise and panic buttons. So my panic buttons is Barsha and Craig. They're probably the same for everyone. Bam, like, geez, yeah, definitely the panic button's been hit. I'm sure he's hit it. I'm sure his team's hit it. And then and same for Craig. So, that's my surprises and panics. What do you reckon?
Pretty much in the same boat as you, Steve. I mean, there's not really a whole lot different.
Yeah.
I suppose my positive would be that AP's managed to hang into the championship this far.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be get the win, a follow-up podium, and then drop back to like a 7th place dude. But, man, he's just staying in there.
He is, yeah. Yeah. He's a different guy, whether it's belief. Sometimes it's just belief, isn't it? You believe that you're one of the guys, and then they just are. Or maybe he's just, that bike has been a little troublesome the last few years. So maybe they just got the bike down. It's probably a mixture of both, What do you reckon, Trent? You hitting the panic button?
Yeah, no. I mean, Bosch is probably the easy panic button one there. So I'll just stick with that theory at the minute. Surprises. I got like one good, one bad. If I can. My good is like the Cooper Webb we seen at LA last year. I was not having that Cooper Webb doing what he's doing now. You know, like that's
even in Paris.
Yeah, even Paris, like, you know, he put in a lot of work in between there and it's paying off now. So that was my surprise. Like I thought maybe that might have been the last we've seen of the dominant Cooper Webb. So I'm pleasantly surprised with that one. And surprised on just like the shit factor is Malcolm Stewart, like all the flying at the test track hype, and then it's just been one thing after another, and we just have not seen. I mean, we've had a couple of heat race Mookie show up, which has been tantalizing to the taste buds, but other than that, we haven't seen much Mookie, and that's a bit of a surprise to me that everything we heard. We just haven't seen it yet. So I hope we see, because he's a dude. He's a definite race winner. Once he figures it out, he's winning. Yeah, he's winning a race. He hasn't done it yet, but I mean, did you carry a Stewart last name? You're going to pull something out here at some point. But I mean, they're my surprises either way, good and not so good. Yeah.
No, that's right. Yeah, good ones. Yeah, Mookie, man, like there's been, you know, so many mistakes, and quite, there's been a few that weren't his fault, but there's ones that were, and just inconsistent. And there's been a couple of flashes of speed, like that heat race, that heat race where he put time on Jet, and you're like, whoa, this is Mookie's night,
We used to have that for
got a fever, that I had a fever.
We used to have that, that Justin Hill won that one heat race at Tampa. I mean, you might have to start saying that for Mookie soon, like that one heat race when he pulls it out, like at whatever track he pulls it out at. We'll have to. You gotta remember that one heat race when Mookie caught fire. But I mean, he's been dealing with that same bike issue. They're all in the same brand dealing with it. They're apparently still in the old frame, so seems like that new frame might be the fix, but they're not on it. So hopefully once he gets himself dialed in, and if he gets another opportunity to be on that bike again for an extra year, because I can't remember if it's his deal. I know Christian's deal's up at the end of this, but I don't know if Mookie signed 2 or if he was, or this is the last year of the 2. But hopefully he gets an opportunity. Yeah, and that's what I thought too. So I think he has another year, which is great because they'll get that bike way better. And again too, like he sat out the whole year last year with the knee. Right, so he hasn't raced that much. So a whole year getting racing under your belt, doing 31 rounds too. He has not done that many outdoors in his career. Like if you get through all that, get through this SMX stuff, and then next year, I mean, we're getting to a point where Mookie Fever is going to start running out, but it's still there for the most part.
Yeah, that's right. I knew Blake would know the contract details. I had total confidence in that.
It's the one people are so on the edge about not knowing, but that's why I know. Yeah. Every time I hear something like, I don't know, it's like, come on, it's the start of the year. For your deal.
I'm unemployed, but I don't. I'm an unemployed media guy. You guys should know this stuff.
I'm just glued to the gram.
You spend too much time on your phone and YouTube, kid. I tell you what. It's good, but some of this
more
stuff
YouTube.
You watch.
So have you guys watched the Motorama, the Matt Burkeen film?
No.
Legendary.
Probably is, but guess what? No. Just like we haven't watched Brazilian Supercross, we haven't watched any of it.
Brazil does not have quads on an arena, okay? Double road quads, all right? It's death. It's amazing.
No.
Also, whenever Vince, Kenny, and Malcolm start together, Vince is the only one that stays up after a couple of laps. Anytime those three get near, Kenny and Malcolm end up running into each other.
Vince has been taking people out without even doing anything. his powers are that strong now that he doesn't even have to do anything. He just his presence
He does.
alone, and people just throw themselves on the
He
ground.
does get moving over. He does right, and he still fucks someone's race up.
They're scared of him. You can't ride scared of the guy.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
They're going to end up making a special flag where he has to go from berm to berm, but just on the pavement, like, I don't know, like pink flag, Vince, you got to miss this whole lane, but someone will still crash.
I just find it entertaining now, man. I just laugh. What can you do? Like, he's never going to change, so you might as well just laugh at it, man. Yeah.
Got it.
Any more on 450s? Any more thoughts on 450s?
Good to
well done to Benny for cracking the top 10
Yes.
on a beater.
Yeah.
Good effort.
No, Trent's ridden the beater.
It took a while. Yes. He's the expert on the spike after all.
Yeah.
Moving right along.
Okay.
AC being back for Daytona. That's pretty crazy. That's his first ever Daytona, and he lived 15 minutes from the track his entire life, and it's the first time he's ever raced it.
It's insane.
I thought he raced it on a 250 once.
No. Well, actually, he might have. That was his first 450 from what he said on a post race.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I could have sworn he won it on a 250.
Yeah, but crazy to think that it's taken this long. Like, we consider him a veteran of the 450 class now, and he still never raced Daytona, which is a track that's 15 minutes from where you grew up. It's crazy, huh? Big AC guy, but it's been a rough run to be an AC guy for the last few years. Get him on TV. Get him off the bike. Put him on TV.
Oh,
that's it. Move up. Maybe move over RC for AC. No? That might be.
Can we get Weege and AC in the booth?
Oh, Weege and AC.
Weege and AC. Keep Ricky. Ricky's been good lately. I'm going to give Ricky some props. James, though,
I love James.
I do. I'm James guy, but I'm sorry. The amount of times he said just jump the jumps on the weekend, like, I get it, but let's use another catchphrase now. Like, let's I'm probably gonna get heat for that, but at the same time, I was like, okay, can we have some other analysis now, please, James? You are so smart. You know this sport inside out, but you just keep referring back to jumping the jumps, and we just keep going round and round on this cycle. How about jumping the wall or something?
My judgment's probably.
Well, Eli did try that, but it was pointless in the end.
Yeah, I'm probably a bit, and my judgment's clouded on James because I'm such a fan. Probably, I'm just like, Stu's there. I don't care what he says because I him. So
I love it in there. I like it because I think he's made Ricky better. Being 100% transparent, I think James made Ricky better by being a little bit more loose, a little bit more relaxed, not afraid to say what he thought. And then Ricky's like, oh, okay, like people respond to this. Now Ricky's doing it. I think James has made Ricky a lot better, being a bit more open.
I think Ricky's better when James is there. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But I think just Ricky in general has got way better because James has opened his eyes to being, dude, you got to be a GOAT. You got to be the GOAT. Talk like the GOAT. Like you got the nickname, but you try and be politically correct. Don't. You're one badass mofo on the dirt bike. Talk like you are.
He's a bit too nice.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. I think he's opened up because now James has done
it.
Yeah. So you need a German accent to be the GOAT.
Oh, come on now. I don't want to bag on Kenny because I do like him, and I have personally had a chat with him in the press conference, Blake. I don't know if you're aware of any of this, burrowing downtime that I may have done in Melbourne.
I had a 30-second chat with him in the alleyway of the after party, okay?
Wow, 30-second.
That sketchy alleyway.
No, I may have, played games in an alcoholic nature.
Got some dirty.
That's right. Kenny was hitting. I
thought you were going to say get dirty knees, but.
Nah, mate. Nah. We just hang out in the press conference. Like he's a good guy, but we got to win some championships before we put some GOAT status on our resume. No offense to Kenny, but Blake, you're drinking the Kool-Aid.
All right, let's talk some 250s, hey? We
There's
might
no
as
more
well
Kool-Aid
go.
left to drink, unfortunately.
We'll just talk East, hey, since it's fresher in our minds, and there's a bit more to talk about with East too. It's a bit more spicy. Man, East Coast Contenders is just the most ridiculous thing that's like we've got 4 points separating 6 riders after 3 rounds. It's completely insane. So we've got Max Anstey, McAdoo, Pierce Brown, Vial, Deegan, and Cody Shock. Team Shock. Shock.
Cody's a good
all
kid.
within 4 points. Yeah, so that's just wide open. It's like starting from scratch for the rest of them. Pretty much. So that's crazy. So I think it's very hard to talk contenders with the East yet.
I mean, we are 2-3 rounds in. Should I say?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's hard. I mean, let's all just pour one out for Austin Faulkner real quick.
Yeah.
Like, that was devastating to watch that guy go through that again.
Absolutely.
I mean, he was the man. Like, if he doesn't have that crash last weekend, we're talking about Austin Faulkner, like, beating these guys in submission, right?
Yep,
he was the guy to beat.
For sure.
But now with him out, like, it's stacked. I mean, being a Max Anstey fan, geez, I'd love to see him go on with this thing. Like, I mean, he held on to I mean, there was one point during that race, we had 3 dudes tied for red plate. I was nearly cheering for that harder because I'd love to see 3 red plates on the track. It would have been never done before, I don't think, ever. Yeah. So I was like, that would be cool to see. But, I mean, honestly now, like, I think it's going to be McAdoo and Deegan show a little bit. Vial is showing some spice though. If we're all being honest, like his result at Detroit, and then Arlington, and then then obviously his win this weekend. Like he's trending in the right direction.
He is, yeah.
I'm excited to see Vial. He did say it'd take him 2 years to get right, and I mean he's getting better. Well, this year 3 now, isn't it? I think year 2.
Only year 2.
Year 2.
So he said it'd take him 2 years to get right, and he's coming good. It's going to be consistency. These guys are all over the shop at the moment, with results. And again, that was a weird race. But if you look at the future, Alabama's an open roof stadium, so you have the weather. And then Indianapolis is always soft and broken down, and it gets a gnarly track. So we got some pretty tough races still to come.
Are they going to Jersey or Foxborough this time? Jersey, aren't they? They're going to East Rutherford.
Yeah, I think it's East Rutherford, So, and I think that's an East-West, isn't it? No? One of them's an East-West coming up. But as I said, like, there are going to be some pretty gnarly tracks for them to contend with coming up. Yeah. So it's not like, hey, we're just going to go back to the cookie-cutter racetracks and, you guys can just go as hard as you want. There's no real...
we get a bit of weather, man, and Vial, man, like, that was a fucking clinic. That was just like I was like watching it with a couple of mates, and I was like, he practiced on this track on a 65 when he was a little kid. Like this is his backyard,
Leer up in the winter.
This is just perfect.
Vulcan
he was
slide,
so comfortable, like just staying out.
He looked good. So for me, I kind of put, like, if you want to talk contenders, I think it's McAdoo, Vial, and Deegan, those 3. Pierce Brown's been like sneaky, just consistent, like Max. So those 2 have just kind of been consistent, while these other guys had a horrible round 1. We all know what happened, but those 2 guys have been consistent. But I think if you just look at speed and ability to win, I think it's those guys. But then you got the likes of Bennett. He's got speed. He was fast qualifier on the weekend. Set Haymakers. We know Haymaker, once he figures this thing out, he's going to be...
he's a race winner.
Pretty hard.
He could pull one out. And
Swole and Hymas. Hymas has been like sneaky good at times. He's showing that, like, he's going to be something special in another year or so, I think, Chance Hymas. Like, he's showing speed. He caught someone late.
He's retimed that.
Yeah, which is tough, right? But they'll as long as you can get through that. But caught someone late in, I think it might have been the heat race or something like that from memory, and I was like, man, he's got some speed. So
do you reckon that there's got to be a lot of pressure on him, even if it's not said, just with what Honda has done the last few years?
Yeah,
he's got to be just feeling pressure, like he's on this team that's just been winning everything. Do you think
his knees?
Or do you reckon,
His knees buggered again.
Hey.
I believe Weege said his knee's done again.
Yeah. But again, those guys...
That's not going to help.
Yeah, I mean, but if he can get through it, I mean, RC's told the story where he rode most of his career with an ACL, so if you can, not getting it fixed. But I don't think so, Steve. I think all the pressure is on Joe Shimoda. Like, he was on if we talk about 250 class, the West Coast is always been the more hyped coast. It goes first. Yeah. It's on the West Coast, which is the hub of motocross in America. So I think he was the one who's been building, and they're like, all right, he's our guy, where Hymas is technically still a rookie, right? So I don't think he had too much pressure, maybe on himself that, I'm on this bike and that team, but I think, in an aspect of the team, I think they're just like, man, just go out and do the races, get your time in. Jet Hunter didn't win the first year they were on the bikes, like they took them a couple of years before they started winning. So I think they're a long game plan with Hymas, but I think Joe had all the pressure, and we're not talking about West Coast, but something good.
That's right. I get what you're saying. Like the pressure on Joe, probably the amount of pressure on Joe probably takes a little bit off Hymas.
Yeah, for sure. But then I guess the results too, as a rider, and we're all riders here, like you would be looking over there and going, oh man, like he's probably not had the results. I better step up, when he doesn't need to. But riders, we always look at those things, and you want to be the best guy on your team too all the time. So it's probably put a little bit on himself. But I think, coming from the team, I think the team are just like, hey man, like you learn, you get it right, and then when you're, next year, we'll go after it next year. So and Hymas, I think, has got the talent. If he can stay healthy and stay injury-free, which is kind of starting to be a little bit of a trend for Hymas, then, I think he's going to be a talent for the future, that's for sure. Yeah.
And Cody's shocked, man. I'm definitely on team shock. I want I want him to get a podium. That's probably where it's at. He's consistent. Consistency is why he's that well in the points, of course. But we want a podium there. I reckon that'd be super cool. It'd be also cool for Swell to get a podium. The triumph on the podium would be super cool.
Yeah.
Not too far-fetched of an idea.
Do we think, Blake, that Cody Shock's results are just simply because he's got the 69 on the bike?
Well, I mean, Nicoletti had a career year last year with a 69.
I think it might be the 69. I think it's the 69 that's helping him.
Wageman had a career year with 69.
Something to the number. The boys will be fighting over it. It'll be someone's career number soon. They'll want it.
Yeah.
It was Bowers at one stage, wasn't it?
If someone takes it as a career number, everyone would be pissed because everybody wants to get it.
Carnell,
Carnell would take it, but nothing against him. He's not going to have a career number,
Steve shitting on the privateers.
But
he would be top 10 if it wasn't for Vince.
Put his foot on backwards. That was gnarly too, by the way.
He'd be on Factory Cowie, replacing AC right now.
Easy.
Yeah,
Anstey, you reckon he straight up wins a dry race?
Needs a start.
I don't think a dry race, man. No.
Nah, he can. He needs a start. Give Max Anstey a start. They'll be in trouble. He showed in the heat race with a start. You can beat him.
I reckon it depend on who else got a good start. Like if he gets a good start and like Wackers and Deegs are 5th and 6th, then he can win it. But if they're like 2nd and 3rd, I think they're going to run him down. But it'd be cool to see. Be cool to see him win a dry race,
Yeah, I'm hanging on for him to be my title guy.
Me too.
It's not good. My history of picking title people has never been great.
Any panic buttons in the East?
Staying faithful.
Any panic buttons in the East? Not really. Not really. Like,
Nah.
Massively disappointed, for Faulkner, but that's a whole different sort of thing.
Yeah.
That ruined that whole weekend for me.
Oh, it put a dampener on the
ruined the whole race,
night.
ruined the whole weekend. I was just like, everything's fucked. Fuck, I threw the fucking toys out of the cot, I was so many people it was just devastating.
I was on the couch with my partner and I just went silent. Like, I'm just like, what the hell has just happened? Like, that is, and then I'm like wanting a replay, like I'm wanting video. Like, we see him skidding across the concrete and then they cut the camera and I'm like, is he okay? Like, I want an update. Like, it was crazy that, it just changed. I didn't even care what happened after that. I honestly don't remember.
Yeah. All I was thinking about was just, I want to, just same as when you're at an event, man. And all I want to see him wiggling his boots.
Yeah, 100%.
Let me see. Just give us a shot and see if he's wiggling his boots, and then I'm going to feel better because that's always the fear. It's like when you're at a ride day and someone crashes at a race, everyone's looking at their boots. He's moving. Okay, that's all right. He's obviously he'll be okay if they wiggle the boots. That's the thing, but.
Did any of us think J-Mart was going to win that heat race?
I hoped.
Yeah.
I hoped. He hung in there for a bit. J-Mart, I'm a J-Mart fan, man. Like, after his last crash, I was of the mind of, like, retire, bud.
Oh, yeah.
Retire. And that was coming from a place of love. Like, I love the guy. He's one of my favourites. And I was just like, your little body's had enough, dude. It's had enough. Head up there and help Papa John run Millville and just fucking ride a bit for fun and that, and just fucking hang the boots up. That's what I was thinking. So,
does he go back to the dealership?
Not the dealership. No, he's got fucking heaps of money. He doesn't have to go to the dealership, but just
like. What a weird career. When you sit back and look at J-Mart's career, like, he wins 2 motocross titles on the trot.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, dude, this guy's like something special. Yes, Supercross was never really flash. It's like, he'll make it up. He'll figure it out. And it's just never clicked. And I'm like, it's the weirdest career path ever. Like, it just, it's really crazy to look back on. Injuries caused a lot of it, but man, it's wild to think he's a 2-time motocross champion.
Yeah.
And he's you would, new people to the sport, unless they get told that, they'd be like, oh yeah, that guy's, he's been working his way up for years. He's slowly getting better. Like, no, he was like badass.
He was the fucking boss of that class. Like, he was dominant back-to-back championships, so.
Yeah. He got a podium at Daytona a few years ago, even.
Second, Second at Daytona. So
led 15 laps.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sort of started to go downhill from the Honda.
Just injuries, man. Just
that back one was bad.
Yeah.
Oh, Muddy Creek, yeah.
Jay Coop cleaned him out. Yeah.
Now look where they're at.
Yeah. That happened.
He's still got 2. He's still got 2 250 titles over Jacob. So you rest on that one.
Dude,
I'm
bummed about Perez.
Turn this light again.
Oh, jeez.
It's a time of day where it's getting dark, so my whole setup's fucking all over the shop. Right, we're back. I just had to fix me lighting because my studio is getting dark. The old the natural light setup I've got coming through the windows was failing me because the sun's going down. So a lot of the pods I do with American guests, it's in their evening in the middle of the day. So I've got this natural light set up. I got it all down, nice. And now we got a group of Australasians on, and
Kiwi.
Australasians. Are we allowed to say that, or is that offensive?
Nah,
German at heart.
We're Australian, but he's a Kiwi, so you can't put him in there with us.
No,
I'm
Oh, yeah.
I'm a
What's the
Kiwi
legend?
Aussie hybrid, all right? I'm a hybrid.
Isn't it Oceania?
Yeah, or Oceania. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how you call that.
Includes New
Yeah.
Zealand. Anyway, that's a geographical question that we should really research.
Yeah. Anyway, moving along.
You should know. You guys are having the Oceania Motocross Championships.
No, don't open that can of worms, sir.
Oh. Let's get into 250 West.
Yes.
Wait.
Oh,
Perez.
Yeah.
Pay respects to Perez and his femur.
Man. Yeah.
Yeah, especially because he was running the 83. So, not.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Another famous 83. Because there's only like...
Famous number 90, though.
Huh?
He
Famous
puts on a
number
show.
90, Hardy Munoz.
Hardy puts on a show.
Dude. Hardy's fantastic. Yeah.
He's something.
if there's ever like if there's ever a round where like things are a little bit dull, there's not much action, just send Hardy out and for a fucking interval show just to fucking do some hot laps.
Just do more LCQs.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
We just need Hardy in arena cross.
Have you watched any of the Daytona Arena Cross?
No.
Of course I have.
Of course Blake has, yeah. Yeah, Carnage.
That was sick. That was sick.
Carnage, man. It was like a full sand track. They got the wrong dirt basically, so it was a full sand track, sand arena cross. It's just like,
It reminded me of the SMX Cup that they had in Germany a few years ago in 2016. It was like that motocross track they built in the arena, and guys are Dungey, Muscan, Weimer. That was kind of remind me of that.
Yeah,
in a way.
That was crazy, But it mixed up the arena cross a bit, though, didn't it?
Changed it.
Yeah. 250 West. Let's go. So, man, there's there's three contenders, and I think that's it. There's the three. There's Levi, Jordan Smith, and RJ. All pretty close and all
5 points.
Pretty close in speed too,
Yeah.
I've got my money on the Hail Mary.
Who's the Hail Mary?
Who do you think's the Hail Mary? On the white bike. Hampshire.
Oh,
I don't know about a Hail Mary, dude. He's only 5 points back.
No, he's in there. Oh, he's here. Levi, Smith, and RJ. Yeah, all in my contention.
He's a Hail Mary on the track, though.
A Hail Mary on the track.
I mean, he sends it. But if you were going to talk a Hail Mary, I'd be saying Joe Shimoda win a championship. He's on.
Hardy Munoz. Hardy Munoz.
32 back. He's a Hail Mary, if that's the terminology you want to go with. But Hampshire does get loose. You're right. But Steve, I think Levi, Jordan, and RJ are the three contenders.
Who's your pick of the three? Who you feeling? I'm feeling that Levi's going to do it because the two old boys act more like the young boys. And they're gonna each throw one more away. So I'm feeling Levi.
I mean, I want Levi to win. I mean, nothing against the other two boys. But at the same time, for Levi's career trajectory, it's probably not a good thing for him to win this championship because with the new rule, if he wins this year, he gets to defend it next year, and then he's got to go 450s. And if we know the Cowie rumors, there's not really going to be a seat there potentially in a couple years, right? So who knows? Things can change in that time period. Their contracts do come up around the same time. I think JA's would be up at that time from what he re-signed, and then their new rider.
He's got next year.
So if Levi wins this year, so next year to defend, do they re-sign the 21? I mean, Triumph might have a 450 by then, and there's all this stuff with his old team now being the Triumph. Anyway, but again, for Levi's career trajectory, you want to know that there's a secured spot over there on the 450 if you're going to win this championship this year. And that's a scary way to think about it because, these guys shouldn't have to think like, hey, like if I win a championship, I get next year and I'm going to get a 450. That's where we're at. So it's kind of like it'd be probably better for Levi's career if a guy like Jordan or RJ wins it. So then they get 1 year to defend and then they should be on 450s technically, right? Yeah. So I'm real torn with this one, like real torn because I can see how things play out a little bit with it where I think if RJ wins, maybe he defends next year. I mean, Husky are going to put him on a 450. Like, he's been their guy for a long time. They've just been waiting for him to figure it out, and Christian's deals up at the end of the year. I mean, just win a 250 title, win a 250 outdoor title, and just slide on to Christian's 450. Like, not writing Christian out of his thing, but, I mean, you could see where RJ could.
You can see it.
Yeah.
You can definitely see it, yeah.
For sure. So, it's my
I want one of the old blokes to win. So, like, I'm always tend to lean towards I want the old boys to win, especially the hard luck story, like Jordan Smith, hard luck story, should have won one, that sort of thing. And then, and even RJ, he's just a likable guy. I love the commitment, I love the full send. And I think he deserves a 250 title. So I'd like one of them to get it. And, because I think Levi's looking real promising to, and you never know, but I think I sort of look at the young blokes and think, you're going to get your chance. Yeah. I want one of the old boys to do it. But I think, my heart's like, I want probably Smitty to win it, but my head is like, Levi's going to win it. So, which is good. Like, it's great for Pro Circuit because poor old Mitch, eh? Fuck. He's had it rough.
He might stand up if they win a championship.
He might leap out of his chair. It's been that long. You never fucking know. Yeah. Shit, yeah. And then I don't really have any surprises out of the 250 West. I've got a panic button, which we've already mentioned, is another one of my favourite guys. So Joe's the panic button.
A surprise for me is being Anthony Bourdon.
Yes.
Showing up on a Bar X Suzuki on a 250.
Yeah.
And then he was like running top fives.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is the same dude who's been running a Cowie 450 for years for Bud.
Yeah.
Can't speak a word of English because I interviewed him and he can't speak English. You understand English, you can't speak it. And I'm like, and he's in America racing, running top fives. Like, that was a surprise to me because I did not have that on my bingo card. So there's an out surprise.
Wow.
Bourdon was,
wow.
I know when we did the quarterly show, Bourdon was one of my surprises. I think yours as well, Blake. I think we were talking about him.
Wow. As a cult follower of the SX Tour, I'm not super shocked, you see.
Why?
Well, he's just a man over there,
Yeah, but that's fine.
Okay, top five's a little bit like okay, but top 10, I'm like, oh yeah, no, easy.
I'm not on his results. Like, his results have been. He's a good rider. I've watched him ride. We've watched World Supercross. He's good, but just Bar X Suzuki out of nowhere. Like, there was no talk of it. There was no. He is considerably old too, from memory. Like, he's not
He's 25.
Yeah, but that's. I mean, to be making the change now to go to America to do this sort of thing is kind of like odd,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It just caught me off, and I was like, Anthony Bourdon's running a 250 for Bar X? Like,
he's old, he's foreign, and he's on a Suzuki, and he's running top five. So
I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner.
That's
foreign guy on the Suzuki.
Now you get me, Blake. That's why I don't understand why it's like.
Well, because Bud Racing's had a history of taking French riders and doing a couple of West Coast rounds. Like, I remember Maxime Dupre and Villeton Talit. And Brian Moreau for All Stars and Monster Cup, and listening it was on. But then again, he was only at Bud for 1 year, and he was on Yamaha for a few years before that. GSM.
So that was just my surprise. Just surprised he was there. I just didn't. Again, it was out of nowhere, and then he was getting good results. I was like, the RMZilla, everyone gives it a hard time. It's like, You get
those. They're fast, man. They're fast. And I know they got Twisted Development doing the motors, who's arguably one of the top dogs in all that sort of stuff. But obviously he's getting them. He does other brands' motors too. And he gets plenty out of those Suzukis. So
for sure.
Yeah.
The RMZ platform, proven by the only Brian Stewart for many years.
Brian Stewart. Here we go. I did not expect Brian Shue to get mentioned on the show, but that's it.
Never a conversation that I've had with Blake where his name doesn't just find its way into the conversation.
That's an old joke that most people won't get, but yeah, look him up.
I was on the path to greatness with that prediction, and it just went.
He was the next big thing. Brian Shue.
That's where my lack of respect came for Blake's hot takes.
Hey?
He won the world title 125s on an RM in like 13. All right, when they were they pushed out, still come through. Up and coming Supercross right from Germany, and he thought playing a violin was more important.
Yeah, he was the next Roxon. No. So what else have we got? So one more question on the US stuff. When we do get an East-West showdown, who's winning? Who you got? It'll be pretty good. It'll be bloody cool this year, that's for sure. But who you got? Let's say it's a good track,
Marshall Welton.
Marsh. Hey, he was good at the arena cross.
Won the arena cross.
He's logged 2 top 10s.
So when you put them two together, that's a 20th.
Yeah. 9 divided by 9.
I don't. To be honest, Steve, I'll really give you an answer. I honestly think those three West guys are going to be hard to beat. Like, they're going to have a bit of time, like a bit of a break, get into swing. These other guys have been up and down, all wild, all over the place, and no one's really taken control. Where those three were kind of just the three best guys by the time we finished that West Coast swing, right? So I think they're just a bit more dialed in than those other guys. But it just depends on what sort of track we get for the East-West, right? Like if we have a little bit more, and I mean, Kitchen rides in Florida, so it's not like he's just pounding West Coast tracks, same with Smith and Hampshire. So it doesn't matter what type of track it is. It's just if these East guys get a few gnarly tracks in a row and the East-West is a gnarly one too, could work in their favor because they've been racing stuff like that where these guys have obviously just been, probably do a bit of motocross and then, been just getting back into the swing of it by the time the East-West comes around. So, but I think just talent-wise and how good they've been so far, I think the West three are going to probably
my money would go West. Yeah, my money would go West. I think
and there's a lot of injuries and stuff over on the East Coast.
Serious answer.
Yeah, man.
My serious answer. I haven't got a definite winner, but the podium will be 2 West, 1 East.
See Deegan,
as it seems to always be.
Deegan might just get some BDE and just want to beat everyone so badly because he's Hayden Deegan, but
or Max will get beat any
go full Goggins.
Yeah, just the full Gogs. All right,
full Goggins.
Yeah.
What's your number one memorable moment of the year? There's been a few. Memorable, whether it was like public nudity or mild violence between riders or funny stuff or whatever. Like, there's been heaps. There's been heaps, hasn't there? Like, it's a tough. I don't know. I don't know what's my absolute favorite thing. Lot of funny stuff.
There's been heaps. I mean, honestly,
that dude climbing the wall at Daytona.
He's in the conversation. That guy's in the conversation.
Well, I mean, Daytona alone has probably given us half of the exciting / crazy things. I mean, the people storming the track before the race had even finished.
Yeah.
I mean, did we all miss the fact that Jalise Swallow nearly got murdered by a buggy just driving across the track on the last lap?
Yes, yeah.
There's been some
yes.
crazy shit happening. Obviously Faulkner skidding across the concrete. I mean, the video that arose from Arlington where Jet's picking his bike up and then all of a sudden Hunter just goes off the track for no real reason. Like someone had just picked him up and just went, oh yeah, you don't need to be on the track anymore, and just put him into the fence. Like there's been a bunch of really weird stuff. Like if you want to go deep on socials, it's all out there. But I mean, the biggest one is we haven't seen a penis out during a main event.
I think that's
so that's a bit hard to beat.
I think that's got to take it, done. I mean, that even got us on what is that?
TMZ.
TMZ. That had even got the sport on the mainstream. The mainstream media's gossip channel. I guess is what it is.
But I mean, good on him. Good on him.
Oh yeah. Shit, yeah. I think that's got to be the number one memorable moment.
No, we haven't seen that.
How about Deegan and Towers having like the most almost identical crash?
It's exactly the same. Pretty close. I want to see I'm sure it's probably on socials already. I want to see a clip of the two times, and see how exact. Because man, it was so close.
The other thing is too that Futures has really given us some entertainment for the 2 rounds, and shout out to Blake's mate over there, the Kiwi kid, for making it entertaining.
My mate.
Yeah, your mate.
He nearly got it again. He was pretty close.
Yeah.
But, it wasn't quite as good as.
It only took a couple of stalls from Drew Adams.
Yeah. Adams, that was real weird. The stalls was weird.
Not weird when you got a half pump, sir. When you can't pull the clutch in, it's pretty.
Yeah, I was gonna say the clutches he'd stall, and the hand would be nowhere near the clutch.
Yeah, he couldn't pull it out. Pump. He said he had arm pump and he couldn't pull the clutch in on the podium.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, there've been some crazy races. Those Futures ones. So
they've been good this year.
Also, some death-defying moments.
Yeah. That too.
Yeah. Cool. We might just touch on just unless I reckon Blake will have a couple extra things about the US scene. We might just touch a tiny little bit on the Aussie scene while we're here. You got any other US stuff, man, Blake?
Hardy Munoz and Brock Puppy in that one LCQ.
That's the race of the year. That's the race of the year. That's right up there. Yeah. Shit, yeah, man.
Actually, Glendale was the race of the year.
Yeah, we've had some. There's been some really, really good heat races this year, hasn't there? There's been a few rounds where the heat races have been the best. So
before you go, Blake.
Oh, okay. Just Kenny and that heat race, like that whole line when he passed Chase was quite hairy.
That was pretty.
But then what happened, man? Everyone was excited. It's like, Ken's going to take it to Jet. Kenny was taking it to Jet. Everyone
playing
was excited.
Safe.
And just
he was having his AT flashbacks with those sort of ruts.
Do you see the photo of the kids standing in the ruts? There was a few photos on socials, and there's like a kid that's like a kid old enough to ride a peewee. Anyway, that sort of age, and the fucking ruts like to his shoulders. It's like fuck.
I saw a photo of Viel going in some ruts, and his radiator's like starting like submerging the ground.
Yeah,
unreal.
Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
Deegan's 360.
Yeah, Deegan's 360. That was bullshit. That was like man, that was like a freestyle move on the fucking ground. How do you do that?
That's a kid that's ridden a dirt bike his whole life and is just so in tune with bike skills. He has a lot of skills. Yeah, Hayden Deegan cops a lot of crap for a bunch of different things, but one thing you can't is he is talented, and not just to go fast, but bike skills. He has a lot of it.
Obscene skills. Yeah, I like the kid. I reckon he's awesome. Sometimes when he opens his mouth, I'm like, oh, dude, like, fucking,
it's a script.
You know, I don't like that. But then I always go back to, I always go back to when I was his age. I was a fucking idiot. That kid's twice as smart as I was when I was his age. So I give him like a half a break on that, you know.
We still are idiots. What are you talking
yeah,
about?
that's right. But I was a whole lot worse when I was his age. Like, he's a pretty good kid, you know. And I was never really a fan of his dad. So
yeah, you're either a Pastrana guy or a Deegan guy, and I was a Pastrana guy.
Very much more Pastrana for me.
Before we move on, I just want to bring this up. Sorry, Blake.
Yeah, man.
Before I forget, because my brain gets a bit old here at the minute. SMX rounds got announced on the weekend too, which is kind of cool that they're going back to Vegas. All speedways too. Well, the drag strip and then 2 speedways. So, what do you think?
I'm a little off on the drag strip.
Needs to be a better track than last year. That track was the worst.
Yeah.
That's right.
The only good thing about the track last year was that split lane out the back.
I didn't like the first one. And to me, like, my thoughts on SMX last year is that those hybrid tracks don't work. They're not, we're going to hurt a rider because they can't set a bike up for a rhythm lane and then be able to handle braking bumps in a motocross section, you know, like, it's it nearly cost Jet there at one point when the bike just compressed and blew through trying to jump the rhythm lane. So I don't like them. I like the second one at Charlotte. Yeah, I like that one. Whereas
Chicago.
Chicago. Yeah. Charlotte's first one. I liked it where it was a motocross track under lights. I like that style. Give me more of them. And then, like I said, I'm like, give me one of them. I'd like to go to a motocross track, like one of the, let's say, the Glen Helen, right? It's the Great White Buffalo of the motocross championship.
Yeah, it can't happen, but it'd be awesome if it did. Yeah.
But a track like that, right? There's plenty of tracks around the country we don't get to. Let's put a race in there, like a motocross race. Then we go to like this Chicago one where it's like a under lights motocross track. And then we go to a supercross track, like a big supercross track to finish. That to me, I think is more entertaining because at least the bikes can be set up to think, but it's still different enough that it's going to challenge the riders each time. I just not a fan of hybrid tracks. Monster Cup, I don't think ever really worked. And just from what I saw last year at the drag strip, I didn't like that track. I just don't like hybrid tracks.
I think with a hybrid track, you get a false like result on form and actually the best riders because it's such a fucking lottery of suspension settings.
Yeah.
You get, at those, we got some guys, this guy was great this weekend, because he fucking lucked on the right suspension settings for a weirdo track. And then other guys were shit because they didn't luck on the suspension settings for the weirdo track. So I think, it's, you know how much trouble teams go to set up for Supercross or motocross.
Yeah.
They spend months testing, and then you throw this different sort of track in where it's a bit of both, and I didn't really like it. I don't think hybrid tracks work either.
And it wasn't great racing.
No,
it was the most boring of the 3 playoffs last year. Was the first one? Yeah, the other 2 had end, right?
They got better as they went along. Yeah.
So that to me is also my other factor to it. Right? I'm not just looking at the track going, I don't like the track because it blows the suspension and blah 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 blah. But it just wasn't great racing on that track. It didn't lend itself to great racing. So give us tracks that are better race tracks so we get, because again, we're all here for the show. We're here to watch the show. So give us the show. Don't try and be fancy and doing this thing and challenge everyone. Like, let's just give them what they want so we can watch the best go at it. And figure out who is the SMX world champion.
Yeah. And I really like Chicago last year. It reminded me of the Qatar Grand Prix.
Yeah.
If you know that from a few years ago.
Or the Charlotte one. They had one in Charlotte, remember?
Yeah.
They won it.
Why don't they just copy that? That was a sick event.
But then Vegas, I think they needed to go back to Vegas, and it'd be interesting to see what they do with Las Vegas Motor Speedway, like where they build the track there, because it's smaller tri-oval. I mean, I'm not a huge NASCAR guy, but I do know a bit about NASCAR. Like compared to, Atlanta that we go to, like, and obviously Daytona when we're running in the, in the grass patch. I think Las Vegas, from memory, is smaller, so I don't know where they got to build the track there. So I'm intrigued to that. But just being back in Vegas, I think everyone in the series is like, oh, cool. And it's the final, we're back in Vegas. Like, as much as Coliseum was cool, a lot of complaints about that last year, but I think everyone's probably not going to be complaining about Vegas for the final
good spot for the final race, man.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. We talk about that in Australia, which we'll talk about
That's it.
Here later on.
Perfect segue into a bit of Aussie talk, man, because so for those who don't know, like we lost our track that's been our final round track, and the location of it was, it's not Vegas, but it was a great spot for the after party and it's a vacation spot, and the whole setup was just tuned to be a great last round.
And you would know, Steve. You would know as you attended.
I was there last year, thanks to you. Yeah. And
no thanks to me, sir. I think I put a dampener on it for us all.
That's all right. You still came to the after party with a bunch of broken ribs and
broken ribs and a bit of a chunk missing out of my leg, but
broken dreams.
It was more the some shattered ego. I think was the worst part. And
sprocket gouges and Pirelli burns up your leg. And...
but a little bit of ego crushing, and I think too, just when the alcohol wasn't numbing the pain, I knew I was probably in a bad way. I should really go throw the towel in for the night.
You pulled up not bad. Like that next morning, I thought you were going to be fucked. I was expecting
the Sunday.
The morning afterwards, like straight after the after party, straight after race day.
The after party was the next day. I did on the Saturday. So are you talking about I woke up Sunday?
I've missed a day then. Yeah. No. The very next day. The very next day after the crash.
Yeah.
I was expecting your missus to fucking need me to help fucking get you out of bed. Like I thought you were going to be just like fucking, snoring shit. You'd be hobbling around and like.
I was. She had to lift me out of bed. It was behind closed doors. So I was putting on a brave face the next day.
You did a bit of first day because when you walked out into the lounge room, then I was like, fuck, he's not too bad,
I tell you what, I was super glad I had a film guy for that round because there was no way I was walking around the track too much that day. I got to announce too, which I thought I'd struggle with, but somehow talking wasn't too bad, and I'm obviously pretty good at doing it. So it was she was painful, that's for sure. It left its mark. Coolum left its mark on me. So
you didn't. You didn't get a trophy there like Blake did. This C grade. You're the last ever C grade Coolum champion, Blake.
Oh wow! There'll be a sign on the gates just of my remembrance. When it's all industrials, there'll be a little sign just planting someone's lawn.
You didn't do the last one. You did the second to last one. So you didn't do the last race. Nice. So there was someone else on the
someone else took the C grade title.
Just downstairs, just FYI, there's a third place surfboard I won where I beat Dean Ferris.
I'm pissed I didn't get one of those.
Well, only guys like me that can beat Dean Ferris in a championship, can claim to have one of those, but just not big noting myself at all.
How many trophies do you have each? How many dirt bike trophies do you have each?
Not that many. I wasn't that good, Steve. He's counting his.
I don't have to count mine because
are we as a dirt bikes exclusive or?
Yeah, just dirt bikes. You can't.
They got a whole.
Not talking a basketball one or
not your participation trophy
or a high
netball
running race. No.
Well, they've got like a whole room dedicated to
it. Your brother.
Yeah, he's just overtaken me, I think.
I don't have a heat, but I threw a lot of mine out, just kind of insignificant ones in the grand scheme of things. But I got some pretty cool big ones, and probably my prized one at the moment is my Battle in the Bush one last year. The trophy and the big cash check and stuff like that, and the champagne bottle.
The novelty check.
The novelty check, mate.
That's better than the trophy. The novelty check,
dude. People don't understand. People
I
understand.
get it. Novelty check would mean way more than a trophy. That's fucking cool to get a novelty check.
Dude, growing up and watching the guys, and there was Supercross Masters Day gets a big novelty check, and I'm like, love one of them. It's just never good enough. And then I had my day, the boys got the cash money. I just wanted the check to take home and hang up in the studio, which. I don't have a studio anymore, but the new house is going to have a man cave. And I tell you what's getting pride of place is that big
above the bar. You got to build a bar and have that above the bar.
It's going to be that and a champagne bottle sitting on the bar. The first time I ever sprayed champagne too, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah. That's the go.
Bit more impressive than my collection.
So Aussie's like,
I've never won anything significant. So I've just got little plastic trophies. And my gold medal.
Hell yeah.
That's the go. So in the Aussies, man, so like rider changes, a few rider ride different teams, that sort of thing. But all the contenders are kind of the same, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a massive off season, a lot of change, people moving around from different teams, and riders stepping up too. So the 450 class last year, we sort of were talking about how stacked it was, and man, we just added two more to the list.
Two instant contenders.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, obviously, defending champ going back to CDR Yamaha, you kind of knew that move was coming.
Yeah.
And talking to him on the weekend, and if you follow the Sunshine State of Mexico's page, you'll listen to his interview where he talks about, I had to go prove to Dakar that I needed to be back on this team, so I'm glad to be back here. Like, he's full of ego, Dean Ferris, and when he's full of ego, he's going to be hard to beat.
And well-justified ego as well.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
He's earned the right to strut. Yep.
Yeah, and then Beat moving over to CDR is a big change. And obviously racing in New Zealand, getting some races under his belt. Will be good to see what he can do. Luke Clout then shifting from there over to Kawasaki. Kawasaki's, return back into the 450 program with the Empire Kawasaki team. That's going to be interesting. I mean, I heard on the weekend he was fast, and Ferris was there, and he was fast. So that's interesting. Then obviously I said, Wilson Todd moving up, the MX2 champ moving up, and then obviously the guy who's been chasing him for the last 2 years, Nathan Crawford, moving up into the 450 for KTM, Gibbs moving to Gas. There's been a lot of musical chairs, but the same dudes are the same.
Toddy.
Don Waters staying with his program, and another year under his belt with that program, and not coming off his injury last year. He had a massive shoulder injury the year before, doing the 6 days. And he was nowhere near ready to go for round one. He kind of just fought his way through the year and then broke his collarbone at QMP. So he's back, healthy, strong, and the program's a lot more settled for him this year, being a team owner, manager / rider.
We've lost Tandy though, so we've gained the 250 guys, but we've lost Tandy.
Yeah, I mean that's really the only one. Medi's made the switch to Cowie, which I think is a good move. I don't think he liked the KTM much last year, so moving to Kawasaki is probably might be a good thing for Medi. We know he's old, but he's fast. So man, it's been a lot. I said a lot of musical chairs riders, but it's still the same guys. I think are going to be at the top. I'm very interested to see how these, I want to call them kids, and I mean they are. I watched both Nathan and Wilson Todd ride 50s, which is stupid. And again, grew up racing the series that I promote, so just plugging it even more. But I'm interested to see those two guys, what they do on a 450. I've heard Crawford has been unbelievable in training, but he hasn't done any besides the Coffs Harbour preseason race, which was a stadium motocross. He hasn't actually done any other motocross events against these guys. And then Wilbur the other day in the sand, he was just a smidge off both Webster and someone who we didn't really bring up there either is Webster staying with Honda, but Webster and Ferris had some good battles up front.
Mm.
Wilbur was just off the back of them. So hopefully Wilbur finds that 20, what was that, 2021? 22? 22, 450.
speed.
Yeah, where he come out and race the last 2 rounds on a 450. Like, if we get that Wilson Todd back, they're going to be in deep trouble. So, I said it's like 450 class is stacked this year, and I said we only really lost Tanny out of that group that I can remember. I'm not missing anyone else, but
no, I don't think so.
Duffy.
Yeah.
Is Duffy racing?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Duffy. I haven't heard anything. He's not on, obviously, Gas, and Gibbs has moved into that ride. So I haven't heard whether he's coming back in a privateer ride or if he's just not. I'd put some feelers out, but again, not being a quote-unquote media guy anymore, I haven't really chased the story down too much to know anywhere to put it. So I've kind of left that one. It's just from what I've seen. And again, when we had them all at the track the other day, I really got a good, not a full shakedown of what we were going to see, but you could tell a lot from what they did. And it was a gnarly track, Harvey Bay sand, white sand, deep, rough. It was cool to see who's been sort of putting in the work.
Is Levi Rogers in the whole series?
I'd say so, yeah. He's on the Beta. So that's the Beta's new program, Caloundra Motorcycles. It's more of like a Dean Ferris style thing, like Beta supported, Australia supported, but through a dealership. So he had some flashes on the weekend as well in the 450 class, off the pace of those front guys, but he was just off the back of them and showed some speed as well. So he's going to be good, and that's obviously their start, right, with the new Beta 450 and Australian Motocross Championship. That's kind of their rider.
Yeah, and then MX2, like obviously Byron Dennis, our guy Byron Dennis is moving up.
It's a good kid. Yeah. Dude, honestly, as much as I said this 450 class is stacked, MX1, MX2, the 250 class is even more so, just purely because we don't have a defending champion this year. And obviously those two guys were a little bit older, been in the class for a while. We have a bunch of kids, a bunch of kids that are...
We could throw a big blanket over like 10 kids.
Well, they're bullshit. They're bullshit fast, but they are loose. Like nearly all of them are loose, right? Again, we watched them at Harvey Bay. The second moto up there, they do 14 plus ones there, so they're not all full length motos, but 8 riders crossed the finish line within a second of each other, and we had an 8-rider battle for 15 minutes for the win. Like, it was just everyone. Minia was in there. He's getting better from his arm. He's still not 100%, but he's just that good in the sand that he can kind of run the pace at the front for a bit. A rider who we know is fast, and he just has those mistakes, is Ryder Kingsford. He was fast again. He was gone in the first moto, and if it wasn't for a crash, he probably just demoralized a lot of them.
So is he, because in the Yamaha shake-up, he's riding for Wardy.
Yamalube, So he's made the switch over to Yamaha Yamalube in there with Cosford and Barham. So, he's fast. Noah Ferguson, once he figures his Honda out, he should have beat them all on the weekend. Like, he fought all the way and nearly got second in the first one from, he was 20th and made his way through in a short race. And then once that everyone he kind of come through that big pack of 8 in that battle and won, and then he kind of pulled 2 or 3 seconds on everyone in the last 2 laps. Like, he's fast, and then his bike stopped in the second one, under the final third moto. So he's probably my pick if he can stay healthy and eliminate crashes. Kind of been Noah's kryptonite a little bit.
Fergo gets a little loose.
Yeah, but I mean, they all do. So that's the thing. I think it's going to be consistency. I mean, Reese Bud won the overall just purely on consistency. Won the first race and then went 4 or 3, 4 or something like that in the next 2. But then everyone just kind of crashed and had bike issues and whatever around him. So I think there's going to be consistency wins this MX2 class for sure. Larwood's made the switch to Honda. He's just trying to get his racing feet under him. He's had 2 years where he's raced 3 times in 2 years. just with a lot of injuries. Dude, Connolly was fast. He had a big crash and hurt himself.
Has Honda got 3?
Yeah, yep. Connolly, Larwood, and Ferguson. So we had the whole Honda team up there. We had the Yamalu team up there. We're just missing Reed Taylor, who has been in India winning Supercross. So I don't know how that would help with his prep. Maybe it's a good thing because he's been racing and he can just transition over.
He's been making cash.
Well, he has. But he's a super talented kid, but I don't think the transition is going to be hard. It's deep. Byron Dennis was good on his first time up in the MX2 class. He's not scared to bang with the boys. And Byron's a big kid. We know that. And I think he got bigger over the break, if I'm being honest.
Well, you see the size of his old man. He's and most of the time, sons usually outgrow their dad. So if he does that, then he probably doesn't want it to be too big.
Nicest man in the planet, but you shake that guy's hand and you feel like a mouse compared to him. His hands are they're like baseball mitts, man. They're just freaking huge, but nicest man ever. His family is really, and his sister actually, she's a talent, young Eliza.
I saw she was on a podium. You were interviewing her.
Fastest qualifier. She got fastest qualifier in a mini light, so she's on 85. And man, she's fast. She was giving it to the boys all weekend. So so I said the MX2 class is going to be stacked, and then that MX3 class, right? It's
the best class. It's the best class.
The best class, I don't know because a lot of that talent's moved up.
Oh, yeah,
but there's going to be a new wave.
Yeah.
The one thing I heard on the weekend that this, for anyone who follows Australian motocross and Supercross, that Jake Cannon is trying to line up for the first round of Australian Motocross.
Jeez.
Yeah. He had a surgery on his wrist. He'd been back riding and then he fractured his scaphoid and he's had surgery on it and he's trying to get clearance for round 1. I'm like, dude, if he does, the kid is tough as nails, but holy hell, what a trip for him to get back to that point. He's in a bad way after Newcastle Supercross. If people don't know, he basically just had his stomach open and they were trying to put organs back together and keep him going. And he spent a week with it just left open, them trying to fix everything. Yeah, crazy.
Wicked bad.
Crazy. So for him to be back racing, and this is what I heard. This is what he told me. He's like, I'm trying to get clearance. I'm like, are you? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, man, as a dad, I'm just like, I don't know if I could do that again. But I mean, he's a talent. So it'd be interesting to see if he does line up and where he's at. And I think he's staying in MX3 as well. Obviously, he's not MX2 because there's already 3 riders on that Honda team. He's obviously made the switch to Honda with his sister.
So it's
gonna be interesting. But that MX3 class, there's a new wave of talent coming through. But as I said, it's always a class where you go to round 1 and you're like, I don't really know too many, and then you just start learning all these kids, right?
You learn them all. They present themselves in the best possible way,
for sure.
And getting out there and getting loose and some of the best races, MX3 races.
Easy. Well, all those boys are in the MX2 class, so all that good racing we had last year, a lot of them are up in the MX2 class, getting ready to do battle. Jack Mather's obviously moved up, right along Reese Budd. I got a hot take on Jack Mather, by the way, super spicy.
Yeah.
When he goes to MX1, he is going to be very hard to beat. He's a 450 guy.
Big guy.
He rode a 450 on the weekend at Harvey Bay, and he was like a 5th, 6th place guy on MX2. He was running it up with Waters, Ferris, and Webster on the 450.
Really?
Yeah. He's built to ride a 450. The way he's been taught. So he's been taught by Todd Waters since he was on 85. Todd's been his coach since he was on an 85.
Yeah.
So Todd has basically been grooming him to the point to be an MX1 champion. And the way he rides a bike, when you actually put him on the 450, you go, oh, everything makes sense. When he gets there, they got to look out because he has been built from an 85 to ride a 450.
Stamp it.
Stamp it.
Stamp it. There you go.
Yeah.
No? And then the girls class, of course, man, like just shout out to McCutcheon, man. Fucking hell, that was rough. Jeez, if you don't know what we're talking about, yeah, you probably don't want to look it up because she had opened her face up fucking from the tip of her nose to halfway across her forehead, basically.
Yeah, halfway up. Yeah, I mean that was gnarly.
Bad.
Gnarly. And
broke every bone in her face, basically. Both eye sockets, forehead, cheekbone, jaw, the whole, just very, very nasty. Yeah, so
that was a deep cut on her face, and then obviously all those broken bones and stuff too. Like, yeah, gnarly, man. But it's the sport we play. But
it is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the women's classes. There's a few young girls that have stepped up this year that are coming out of juniors or amateurs. If you're American, our juniors are basically amateurs. They're stepping up in our women's class. I think just, Charlie's just a different level.
Yeah.
Like, is
Charlie going to be? But Charlie's heading overseas, isn't she? Or is she going to do toing and froing like last year?
No. She's here in Australia.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought she was in the American series.
Yeah, she's going to do some American stuff.
There's
plans, but no Europe. Europe's off the.
Yeah, no, I was talking American.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah. The main focus is Australia, obviously, and then obviously with Yuri's connection with obviously owning the 5-power Honda team and all these US American stuff. Yeah, once I heard she was signing with Honda, I was like, well, her European stuff is pretty much done here. She'll be more America now. And there was a bit of rumor about the women's championship firing back up in the US again. I heard that rumbling last year. So
that's the rumor. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, if it does, then I would probably, you'd imagine you'd see her there for sure, depending on when and where, and hopefully no clashes. But I think she's obviously employed to go and run a number one on a Honda in the women's class and go win it, so. Yeah,
fair enough, yeah.
I think the first round was at the RCSX.
This weekend?
I'm pretty sure it was.
Okay.
A round was at Daytona.
Yeah, but that's an amateur thing, isn't it? I think that I was hearing it was like a national thing coming.
It's like some of the rounds are at the bigger amateur nationals, and then some of them are on the amateur day of the pro weekend.
Okay. Yeah, it's
like a blend.
There you go. Yeah, I don't. As I said, she had a gnarly injury as well, Charlie. Big old cut in her leg. Got super lucky that she didn't hit any muscle.
Or hit an artery when you in your quad, man. There's a big artery in your quad. So
so I was speaking to her dad about it a little bit, and he said they got lucky not hitting any of the arteries or any muscle, but she hit a bunch of nerves and got some feeling issues in her quad and touches one side and feels it in the other, and some pretty gnarly stuff. But I mean, she went to New Zealand and raced in that women's Oceania competition, whatever it was called, and still managed to get a W away with being just having her legs stitched together. So she is another level than everyone else, but she's still battling her own injury stuff as well.
Cool. What about your mate Hamish Harwood? How is one of these Aussie teams not just fucking paying him? Get him over full time.
I don't think he's after that.
He doesn't want to do it?
No.
He works a full-time job in New Zealand, man. Like, he's a carpenter by trade. He runs a pretty successful, I don't think it's his business, is it?
Yeah, okay.
Blake, but
I think he manages someone's business.
Yeah, he manages it. Like, he's the guy, right? Like, I think he earns good money doing it, and I think
more money than make racing if he's doing a good job as a chippy. Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Which is sad to say. That's sad to say, but it's true here. Yeah. So
100%.
And he's got a young family as well, so you kind of want that stable income.
Yeah. And living at home, you got to move to Australia, right? And up and move the whole family. They don't get paid enough. he would not get paid enough. Not even one of the top guys are getting paid enough to do what he'd have to do to race on a team and that sort of stuff. So
even Dean Ferris has got a side business. You know, so there you go. That says everything, doesn't it?
They all do, mate.
Waters has got a side business. They've all, like none of them. No one's getting paid.
Good see.
Yeah. No, they got it. They don't. That's a common misconception with our sport in Australia is how much these riders get paid. They those privateer hero American Supercross riders would earn more than our top riders in a yearly salary. It's for what they get paid for the risk that they take. It's heavily bonus, but even still, like nothing like what the US bonuses are. Nothing like that. But you can earn a lot more money if you win in races. That's the idea. But it's crazy to think like what Aaron Taney was on last year as a defending motocross champion is. I mean, Ferris is very much the same too, but it's not as much money as people would think, or perceive it to be. So
that's right.
But our sport isn't as big, so it's kind of give and take.
That's right. You going to any Aussie rounds, Blake?
I'm definitely going to try to do the last two, like Gympie and QMP. Yeah. I was thinking about Toowoomba, but it's still a little bit to fly over, and I'm not sure if it would make the most sense, but definitely the last two.
Cool. Well, I haven't thought that far ahead. I've only thought about the rounds down here for a start, and then we'll see. But I'd like to. It'd be cool. Yeah, especially if you're going, man. That'd be cool.
Yeah, no, definitely the last two. Yeah, back-to-back weekends, it makes sense.
Cool. I've even thought about going over to Adelaide because that's not a bad drive for me either. So
you got two there as well this year, so not too bad. Murray Bridge is a pretty cool track. Been there too, so just looking at it, don't know how it's going to race, but looking at it, it's kind of a cool sort of area. But it's going to be an interesting series, that's for sure. I'm sure I'll wait for my phone call, Steve, when you're looking for a place to stay for those rounds.
That's right. In a new house, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, a new house, mate. We actually have a spare bedroom this time, so you won't be on the blow up on the couch.
That blow up thing was stupid.
Well, if you come, and then Blake says he's coming too.
I'll take the blow up thing from Andrew. That was super comfortable. That's a kick ass.
It wasn't actually that bad.
That's good, man. That was that was better, more comfortable in my bed at home. I reckon that was.
There you go.
That was good.
That's good. As I said, doors always open, guys. I love having people over, and I mean QMP from the new place is only 30 minutes, so easy to stay at for that. And Toowoomba's it was like an hour and 25 to this place, so it's about an hour I'd say to get to Toowoomba.
I thought it was a bit further. Yeah, I thought it was a bit further.
Yeah. So it's a bit closer, but Gympie's a fair drive, so can't help you out there, boys. But we'll have fun anyway. Got to come up. 3 Queensland rounds I'm biased, but they're the best rounds. Just saying.
That's a go. All right, I reckon we just about covered everything and more, guys. Thank you very much for your time, and we will. Blake's definitely in for the 3 quarters, and I might see what you're up to as well at that. When that time comes too, Trent.
Mate, phone always ready to ring, mate. I'll jump on and talk mono every day of the week. I actually miss it. I've actually missed it.
I thought you might have missed it. Yeah, because I thought of you lots of times, and I was sort of thinking, for a start, I was thinking, I bet he just wants a break. He just wants fucking no media. Fuck the media. I reckon you will probably just wanted a break, but then I started to think, he's probably starting to miss it now. So obviously I was right.
Yeah, the break was good. Yeah, the time off was good. Had a life for a while, which was nice. But I've been missing it, and as I said, watching you guys take it on, like it's as you said at the start, kind of full circle moment. Like, to sit back and watch you guys and feel like I had some small part and kind of maybe nudging you guys in the direction to give it a go is kind of cool, and there's a few other guys that I've sort of been involved with along the way that are potentially getting into the same space. Like, it's just cool. Like, we all have really cool stories. We all have the same common passion, which is
Yeah.
motocross and supercross here in Australia and abroad, you know. So, I mean, it's cool that you've done this, and I said I'm keen whenever, mate. You just hit us up, and I'll probably have less of a janky makeshift studio for the next side, but a bit better sound quality. But no, it's been fun.
That's all good. I like here. I heard Snoopy in the background a couple of times there. That was cool.
Oh yeah, Snoop Dogg is he's trotting around here. He got out today, so he's in trouble. So
no!
Had to rush home from work to go find him down the street. But yeah, he's good. Yeah, if you listened to the show before, you'd know the infamous Snoopy when Johnny lost his absolute mind.
Oh, that's what I'm glad you mentioned Johnny.
Yeah,
That's the biggest downer of the upcoming Aussie Nationals is no Johnny. That's the biggest downer.
I heard he's at round one.
I heard
he's at round one. He's not driving a truck though.
I hope so. He's stepping up.
I heard he's at round one.
No, he'd be Daka's right hand man. I reckon that should be his job.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's working on some things. I think he's going to be there. I know he's going to be there because I think I'm catching a lift home with him and another former co-host of mine back to the airport on Sunday night, trying to catch that last flight out of Melbourne to get home. But
cool.
Yeah, I've heard he's going. So not as a truck driver, but he'll still be there. But I mean, again, that's the other downer of 2023, right? He's losing Serco. So yeah, be a different pit area come round one, and a lot of things at round one at Wonthaggi in a couple of weeks' time. Our series kicks off, and there's a hell of a lot of stuff we're going to have to deal with at round one this year.
Yeah, it's
going to be crazy.
I mean, I feel weird about going there and I don't have any connections to things that happen, but
I mean, it's a big thing, and I'm not 100% sure or too much of what's happening and things like that, but it's going to be a bit of a weird, much like when we went to Appen after it, right? Like it was kind of a weird vibe, but then it kind of just went back to business as usual. So there's a lot of stuff around one this year that, if you're following along, little storylines behind the scenes that, are going to be interesting to keep an eye on. Yeah,
a lot of emotion, man. A lot of emotion, yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it was a bad day in our sport. That's for damn sure. So
bad as it gets. Yeah,
a lot of us are going to relive it again and have some memories and stuff. But I mean, it's all part of the process, and not forgetting and keeping the memory alive.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much for helping out do the half-season review.
Done deal. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Blake. Cheers, man. Thanks, Trent.